afternoon, Stitch Roadies. Well, we're back in the beehive. I have been just furiously rearranging the beehive and making it much more airy. Is that a word? Airy, yeah. It's kind of interesting when you rearrange things and you organize and reassess how you're storing things, that you can create levity in your life. And it's just such, it kind of feels like a weight is off of me. I don't know why that is, but I'm not going to question it. I'm going to just enjoy it. I have been doing a bit of stitching. It's been kind of rainy lately. I mean, we had one day break, but then it's back into the rain, and nobody is complaining about it because it has ended our fire season, and our natural disaster in the state of Oregon is fire. So yeah, we're all happy about the rain, but it does give that cadence to life that you know what? Oh my gosh, the thing about it is, I love fall. It's my favorite season. But when you drag out the fall clothes, they are brutal in their estimation of how you've overindulged in the summer. Because summer clothes kind of stretch and flow in a different way, that you can kind of get away with thinking about what you're putting into your body. Do you know what I mean? I mean, today I put on my first pair of blue jeans and I went, fall is brutal. Fall is brutal. It doesn't let you get away with anything. So, yeah, sweater weather, but I'm here to tell you, you really get how you might have overindulged over the summer. Yeah, so I'm kind of playing with a little different format. I read all of the comments that come in, and I so enjoy reading them. I mean, some make me laugh out loud. Others just make my heart feel good. And thank you for all your kindness. But there were a lot of questions, not a lot, but there were questions that I thought, you know, I should actually, instead of just answering it to the individual who asked, I should just answer it to all of you, because some of it you may not care about, but some of it you may have said, oh, I had that question too, and just never bothered to ask it. So I'm going to start a question and answer segment on the video, so we all can share in that. So first of all, everybody wants to know where I got this fabulous shirt. I know, it's absolutely adorable, I have to say. Unfortunately, I did not save the shipping information or anything. I ordered it on an ad. You know how ads just pop up on Facebook? Well, there was an ad for this shirt, and I clicked on it, and it takes you to a shopping link, and you know, some of those I'm suspicious of or I don't know about, but some I'm willing to take a risk on. I'm glad I did with this one. So the only thing I can tell you for all of those who were interested in this shirt is on the label of the shirt is the name Gildan, Gildan. That's the only thing on the label. So I don't know whether you can track that down by Googling it or what, but there you go. There you go. I did finish the book I was reading, which was called How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, and I truly enjoyed it. It was a fantasy book but but because it traversed hundreds of years, there was a lot of history, a lot of history with it. And when I was in the 8th grade, I wanted to major in history. It's kind of funny to think about that in 8th grade, but my mother especially was really motivated because she came from another country, and she was a school teacher in that other country. She was all about education, so she always was pushing us. We've got to study, we've got to go to college, we've got to create a good life. And so from early on, I was always thinking about what I was going to major in college, which in 8th grade I thought, oh, I'll major in history and I'll become a lawyer, because I can argue I can argue with anyone. But I've always enjoyed history. So this book, How to Stop Time, kind of traversed history, and it just kind of, I don't know. All I can tell you is I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the book very much. And I found out that they're actually making a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch. So I'm definitely going to be watching that. Once a book is done, I've moved on to 2 or 3 other books. And so I'm continuing. I'm making myself, I remember when I was a kid that in the Catholic Church, because we converted when I was in the 3rd grade for a period of time, and that's when I found out gluttony was a sin. And when it comes to books, I am definitely a glutton. What can I say? So this particular book, Mad Honey, I am keeping down in the living room, because that is where we are having our morning coffee when we get up. And there's a comfort for me in patterns. And we have switched our patterns back to what they were previously to 6 months ago. And when the family was kind of all in transition. And so now G and I light a candle, make the room smell good. We've got the fireplace going because it's cool. And I read like maybe 5 or 6 pages of Mad Honey, because I know it's the kind of book that I would just sit down and not do anything else but just read it. And at the same time, I know that it's a book that I need to savor. So I've been just doing it a few pages at a time, and have very much enjoyed that, Mad Honey. And I always love when I learn something. Do you know who was the first president to pardon a turkey at Thanksgiving, since we're heading towards Thanksgiving? Yeah, put it down in the comments without Googling. Just see if you can guess. I won't tell you. Till maybe next time. So I've been reading that. And then I also have been reading Ordinary Grace, and that's by Kruger. And what's interesting about this author is that he grew up in the Cascade Mountains of Oregon, which is where we spent a good portion of our lives. So that book is kind of like a small town coming of age. It has a mystery in it, family dynamics. It's kind of it's a rich book. It's a rich book, and so I'm enjoying that read also. So you can tell we've dropped into fall, and with that comes a whole nother set of things for me, and that is a ton of reading. Not a ton of reading goes on in the summer. Sometimes I'm listening to book, but not a whole lot. But now I'm definitely I'm hunkered down into that stitching, reading, candle burning. Yeah, the beehive smells fabulous because I always burn a candle in here for just, about half an hour, and then I blow it out, and the rest of the day it's just this wonderful aroma. I think that that's a good thing to do for yourself, whatever it be, is in your space, whether it be the perfect coffee cup to have tea or coffee with, or a candy dish filled with your favorite candies, fresh flowers or silk flowers, kind of creating an ambiance to life, because this is the one we get, and you just got to make it enjoyable, don't you? Okay, so someone asked what a whip was. And for those who are old stitchers, not old as in, years old, but like proficient maybe is better. You know what that is, but maybe there's a whole lot of new. And a whip is a work in progress. That means you're stitching it, it's not been forgotten for a year or more. Then it becomes a UFO, an unfinished object. But an unfinished object is not necessarily going to never be finished. It's just kind of been pushed to the background. A whip is like one that just shows up every so often to be worked on, and so it's a work in progress. The other abbreviation that someone asked about was ORT. Now, ORT refers to leftover food in the dictionary. ORT. I think it was French in origin, but in the cross-stitch world, an ORT is the last bit of thread. You've stitched along, and you've you knotted or tacked it down underneath, and there's this little tail that you cut off, and it's not big enough to use again. That's an ORT. And so I have a little milk jug that I put all my ORTs in. And when it gets filled up, it's so colorful, and it makes me feel like, wow, look at all the stitching I've done and all the leftover thread. I will admit that I have dug into the ORT jar for a piece of thread that I just needed a little bit more, and yeah. But that's an ORT. So if you have an ORT container, anything could be an ORT container. Yeah. It was suggested in the comments that the Quaker Seasons that had just come out, the autumn, that I ordered from Top Knot Stitcher, to do them individually rather than all together. The winter one has not come out, has not been released yet. It'll be released here shortly. And I think I'm going to take that suggestion, because to do them all on the same fabric, given that I'm not a monogamous stitcher, and by monogamous stitching, I mean I only work on one project at a time, yeah, that would be a freaking miracle, but that is not the way this girl rolls. So that would end up being a project that may not get done in this lifetime. And since I have not made any agreements about being able to roll over to the next life with all of my cross stitch, I think that it might be better for me to actually do them individually and have a spot where I rotated them out by seasons. So I really took that to heart. Now, if I was guaranteed that I could take my cross stitch with me and that I would be a cross stitcher, whether it be in heaven or the next life, depending on your belief, I would consider doing that. But after having, look at, I'm babbling, after having realized by working through the trees, which is my biggest project to date, that may be the only big project that I could conceivably finish in this lifetime. I don't know. I have no idea. So, yeah, I did like that suggestion for the seasons. Let's see, what have we got? Oh my gosh. You know what? Where is it? Oh. Remember in the last video, I told you that I found a box behind my ironing board that was not opened. It was in a shipping box, and when I opened it, it was a project folder by Heather of Punky's Place. Isn't that gorgeous? Heather looked up when I bought it. You know, I thought Heather was my friend. But I don't know. Now I'm not sure, because she told me, I think she should have kept this a secret from me, because I cannot believe this. But she said the invoice on her end shows that I bought it in January. So it fell back there, and I was oblivious to it. January. It's end of October. It sure is gorgeous, though. And I'm glad I found it than my ancestors. Yeah. I have decided that one should have in November one. Oh, I sound so full of myself, don't I? But I have decided that in November one should have some kind of Christmas start. Because then conceivably, a small, so that conceivably you could have it done for December, if you celebrate Christmas. So I decided to start one of these. I just love these, and I want one this year on my tree. I got these patterns at Acorns and Threads. They are absolutely adorable, by Lila's Studios. I don't know, there might be more than one Christmas start. It's, you know, or holiday start, or Ramadan, or, yeah. Hanukkah, you could do how many starts each day of Hanukkah? Yeah, that could be a lot of starts, couldn't it? But December could also not necessarily be Christmas starts. It could be winter starts. It could be seasonal. Yeah. I was also asked about this particular pattern that I'm doing in memory of my grandmother, who was born in 1911. And yes, this chart is still available. I am going to do it like this, where there's 3 across. I don't know if I will do them all or I will do 3, but I do know I'm going to put her name, which my brother-in-law wrote in Korean for me, and no, he's not Korean, but he is an extraordinarily intelligent, amazing person who is teaching himself Korean. And he can write. He wrote the whole alphabet for me. But he, I just love this chart. And this is by Soda Stitch. So I am starting it on her birthday. Oh, way adorable. Adorable, adorable, adorable. Okay. I did get an order. Talk about haul. Well, first of all, I got the cutest card from my attic shopping buddy, Becky. She's a card maker. Not only is she a stitcher, but she's a card maker. And oh my gosh, she's going to be down there. You know, she spends the winter down in Mesa, Arizona, which is a hop, skip, and a jump to the attic. And I wish I could be down there with her. But she makes cards also, and isn't that sweet? Yeah, she teaches card making too. So that was fun. It was fun to get that. Now back to haul. I did order a couple of pieces of fabric from the Fat Quarter Shop, from Fabric Flair. It's by Fabric Flair. And this one was just a basic 36 count antique white. And a 28 count even weave ivory. But what was a sweet surprise is in the package that came this. Now I know you saw that I made, I cross-stitched this for the front of one of my Yazzie bags. And Yazzie Bags is in Houston, Texas for Quilt Market. But this is really sweet. So I had cross-stitched this, although this is a quilt. And they popped this book in that has all kinds of quilt blocks. I mean, it's just an adorable book, and it's spiral bound, which is awesome because so many of my quilt books, the ones that I use regularly, I take them to a printer to have them spiral bound. But this has a lot of fun. So that came. The last, oh, not the last. I got more here going. So what did I start? On the new Beaver Moon, which was October 25th, I started the beaver. Doesn't he have an extraordinary tail? I know someone left the, Monica, my friend Monica, she left the comment that when I posted the picture on Instagram, that she said, I never thought I would say that's an amazing beaver. But he really is. That tail is extraordinary. And I have it in my Crafty Cory Stitches bag. Look at that bag that Cory made, and they are sold at Acorns and Threads. So you can call up and say, I want a Crafty Cory bag, and then they'll tell you which ones are available, and you can get one. And I like both sizes. You know, I do like to have the smaller size one for like little projects. But this is what I had this week, and I'm just stitching in the evening, so on the beaver. I don't know if that just sounds so. I'm stitching the beaver in the evening. Many of you have been asking about this particular pattern. And if you Google Daisy Joe Designs on Gumroad, that is who is the designer. And, oh, I got it all. What happened here? There we go. That bottom part, though, is quite a job, and so I'm working on that. This is, I'm ever so much hoping that this will be done by the Christmas holiday, since that is the holiday that we are celebrating. Oops. Okay. And I realize that I need to switch out here from the beaver back to this one, because I really need to get this one done. And this is a, if you Google it, this is Love That Journey for Me. And it is by Astra Patterns. Astra, A-S-T-R-A, pattern on Etsy. Yeah. And I did get a little bit more done of the flowered wreath. It's all done in DMC, and I am loving that color. Oh, it's gorgeous. So let's see. The last bit of enabling that I'm going to leave you with is, well, enabling is my superpower. What can I say? I need a cape. We all have some gift that we bring to the world, and mine is enabling. I know that when I'm in a quilt store or a cross-stitch store with girlfriends, if I'm yelling one of their names, they usually are trying to hide from me, because I've found something absolutely perfect for them. So this last bit of an enabling is for my friend Linda, who I met this past summer. She was in my sit and sew class, and it was an amazing event to have met her, because she's very, very crafty. Not only she's a quilter, she's a cross stitcher, she's a paper crafter, she has a creative view on the world. And at that time, when she was in class, she brought some of her things that she uses on her table to stitch with. And this is not like a class I'm teaching. It's like you come for a day, and I mentor the room is what I'm basically doing. And that means I'm walking around the room, I'm talking to people. If they have problems, I help them figure it out. Mostly I am very opinionated, so they ask my opinion about things, I am more than willing to give them my opinion. And by the way, I am doing 3 days of that this coming summer in Sisters, Oregon. So if you want to have one-on-one opinion, be sure you sign up at Quilters Affair 2023. So there I was in this class, and I told her, you need to be teaching this stuff that you're making. You need to be teaching this stuff. It must have already been in her brain, because she took that idea and ran with it. And I am telling you, if you know, I've said this before, Patreon is a platform that's kind of like an online magazine. So you can sign up for anybody's Patreon, and I look at it as a magazine subscription, which means that I'll sign up on a Patreon, and maybe after 6 months or a year I'll unsubscribe, just like I would a magazine, because it's either not the right time, or I'm not as interested in the theme of the Patreon as I was before, and or it's kind of like a magazine subscription. So when you get tired, you know, like I used to, didn't we all have National Geographic? And then we eventually had to stop that because you can't throw them away. But I had all kinds of quilting magazines, and I'd unsubscribe as my taste changed or whatever. So this is what Patreon is. So when you sign up, you don't have to think, ooh, I'm stuck. No, you could sign up and 2 months later you can unsubscribe. But this Patreon has been, she really works hard at it. You get a lot of information, you get a lot of encouragement. She's contacting you in between the meetups. The meetups alone are fun, where you get to talk to other people all over the country or the world, and then you're making things. So to me, it's worth the risk of trying it, because you can always unsubscribe from it. And now they're doing, although I didn't sign up this particular, I'm having definite FOMO, which means fear of missing out, because she's organized an exchange amongst the Patreon members. Oh, I wish I had signed up. But I just felt overwhelmed by the adulting I was having to do. So, just to give you an idea, this is something that she gifted me, and it's made on a picture frame, and she gives instructions on how to make this. It's a little, you set it in front of you when you're stitching, and it has all kinds of tools and needles. It has a little felt thing back there. So you're going to be making all kinds of little things, which meant I went to the craft store because our last meetup, she was showing a lot of different tools, and you get all these videos in between about organization or what she's doing, and so then, yeah. So I went to the craft store, and yeah, came home with a lot more crafts. But I'm kind of excited because it gives you a whole different, it's kind of like when I went to my friend Karen's house. All of a sudden we were like doing things that we had never done before, but she had a lot of different craft things. So I went shopping. So if you want to join a Patreon, if you want to sample it, this would be a very good one to sample. Because, and it's not permanent, if you don't like it, yeah, just unsubscribe, But I feel like I'm definitely getting my money's worth on this one. So crafting, I have been crafting. I made some counting pins, and I made a pincushion. And let me just show you, I'm kind of proud of this pincushion. So when I go antiquing, I'm always looking for interesting little things to upcycle. Is that? Yeah, upcycle. And so I saw this adorable egg cup. And I said, I bet I can make that into a pincushion. So I took and I felted a ball. And so you have to have a felting tube, and you have to have all the fuzzy stuff. And I felted it, and then I made counting pins to go in it. And so I'm just kind of proud. And this is what hanging around with people who do crafts like Linda, that's what happens, is that you just kind of explode. But here, look at that. I tell you, and then I made those counting pins. I am so tickled by this. Yeah, I know. One more thing, right? One more thing. Well, thank you for stopping by. I release you to go out and be enabled. Hallelujah. See you later. Love you guys.